Hey guys, in this video I want to tell you really quick or show you how to solve an absolute value equation like the ones we did in class. So as you see here on the left, we have this example, the absolute value of 6x plus 9 minus 3 equals 42. Now I also have Desmos calculator open up here on the right because I want to be able to show you how to check your work on the calculator as well as another method of choice. Okay, in the end, you can choose whichever method you prefer and whichever method makes more sense to you. All right, let's get started. For this absolute value, 6x plus 9 minus 3 equals 42, the first thing we want to be able to do is we always want to be able to isolate this absolute value part. We want to leave this part by itself. Okay? We want to make sure that nothing is around it before we can split it up into two parts, the positive side and the negative side. Okay, so we need to get rid of that negative 3 that's close to the absolute value. So to move it over, we're going to do the exact opposite. We're going to do plus 3 on both sides. By doing that, we're able to cancel the 3's right here, and then we bring down the absolute value part. We have the absolute value of 6x plus 9 equals, when you add 3 to 42, we get 45. Now what we're looking for here is we're looking at an absolute value, right? I know that the absolute value function looks like this. It looks like a V. There's a left side and there's a right side of the V. So I'm able to now remove the absolute value lines and figure out the left side of the equation, the right side of the equation. So by removing it, we can actually split this up into two parts, the negative side of the function and the positive side of the function. Okay? By splitting into two parts, I'm allowed to remove the absolute value lines because I'm already accounting for the fact that we're going to have two answers. So we have 6x plus 9 equals negative 45, and 6x plus 9 equals positive 45. Notice how there's two parts to this, right? We have the negative side of things, and then we have the positive side of things. So let's solve for x now. We can solve for x on the left, solve for x on the right, and we have our two solutions. So on the left, we subtract 9 on both sides. We do minus 9. 6x equals negative 54. We divide both sides by 6. And we're left with x equals negative 9. On the other side, we solve for x as well. We have minus 9 on both sides. 6x equals 36. Divide both sides by 6. And you have x equals 6. So I have two possible solutions, x equals negative 9 and x equals 6. And this is where Desmos kicks in. Okay, so for Desmos, we're going to always split this up into two parts. The left side of the graph, let's do this one in blue. We're going to go to the original problem. We're going to go to the original problem and do the left side of the equal symbol. We want to figure out when does this equation equal 42. So I'm going to type it in as f of x equals the absolute value of 6x plus 9 minus 3. Here I have my absolute value function that we said we were going to have, right? Now I want to know, when does this function, for what x values is this function going to equal 42? This is where the right side of the graph is going to come in. When is the function going to equal 42? So we make another equation that says f of x equals 42. Now, hopefully you can see that these two actually intersect. Here we have an intersection at negative 9 and an intersection at 6. And that's exactly what we predicted earlier when we said x equals negative 9 and x equals 6. When x equals 6 and negative 9, the function will equal 42. And you can see it visually here in the graph, and you can do it physically on paper. So if you prefer the graph, you can do everything on the graph. If you can do it on paper, you prefer everything on paper. Either way, whenever you get a solution, you have to check your work. You have to check that the answer actually intersects correctly on the graph. You can check your work by paper, but it's a lot faster if you check your work on the graph. I'm going to do another video after this one that talks about how do you know when there's no solution and what does that look like and why does that happen. But for this one, we have two solutions, x equals 6 and x equals -9. All right, guys, I hope this helps. And as always, I'll calculate later.